Oh, kia ora koutou. It's a pleasure today to be here with Allie as our Deputy Chief Executive of WITT Te Pūkenga, and we'll talk a bit more about that soon. So, kia ora Allie, welcome along. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, kia ora. Tēnā tātou, tēnā koutou te maunga tītohia ko Taranaki. He mihi minui kia tātou katoa. It's really lovely to be back here, actually.
Yeah, so when you first did an interview similar to this with Arun, that would have been, what, 6 months into the role? And
about 6 months into the role, and back then, you know, when you move into a new role and you think you know what the role is, and now I know what the role is.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and you're looking stunning.
Yes, sometimes it just all comes together. So it's pleasing. It's one of those days.
Well, Allie and I had the pleasure of working together at WITT for a few years when I was on the board there, and so we've seen a lot of the changes and and the challenges that have gone through the sector, and obviously that continues with a new government now. So why don't we just start right into the hot stuff? Tell us about WITT, because I know that looking at it from a business community lens, people have got a really big invested interest in our local polytech for the ability to train our students and do that locally. But it's forever changing, isn't it? The world is challenging. So tell us a bit about Te Pūkenga.
It's forever changing, and I think the word relevant is really important because no one wants to be irrelevant. So it's about how we at WITT can be incredibly relevant. With the new government coming in and making the decisions to disestablish Te Pūkenga, and very clear messaging that the leadership will be locally led, or the regions, the institute will be locally led. So we've sat back and thought, now what might that actually mean? But more importantly, what could and what should that mean? So we're really quite excited about that whole conversation. Like anything, we're not sure exactly what that might look like, but we've been having conversations with a lot of stakeholders around the region, asking questions about how can WITT better respond to the needs of the region. So that's always been a relevant question for WITT, regardless of what's happening in the political scene, wherever. So even more important today.
Yeah. So a bit more ownership back to Taranaki, which is only a great thing. And WITT's always been very forward-focused around the long-term strategy, looking at where Taranaki is going to be, into the future. So is that still a big focus for the Institute around looking at renewable energies and different courses and the adaptation of those things to suit our future workforce needs?
Absolutely. We've had quite a bit of involvement in the whole new energy space, and it's been really exciting from our perspective because we've been able to build our knowledge and our capability around there. One of the challenging aspects of that whole new space is that it's new. It's still so very new. So the question is, and we all know that we need to have the workforce to be able to do that work. How we align ourselves to those employers, that industry is actually really important as well. And how we actually work together to advocate for that new industry here in Taranaki is key to that. Because one of the things I said earlier, what's important for WITT is that we are relevant to the skill needs of our community.
Absolutely, and one of those skill needs, of course, is nursing and training up our young people into the medical profession. And WITT's always been a star performer, so still going well in nursing, still getting good numbers?
Still very good numbers. We had the pōheri to welcome 60 first year or year one nursing degree students, probably about a fortnight ago.
Congratulations.
And then 2 weeks ago we also had our graduation.
Yes, tell us about that, down the main street again, big parade.
Absolutely. And there were about 117 nursing graduates.
Wow. It's impressive, isn't it?
And all of them are working in the sector. So, we're absolutely doing our part to train nurses and to support our whānau in that space.
Yeah. And even looking at Māori and Pacific outcomes, I mean, some great results recently, and that's, you guys are doing it all for everybody, aren't you, really? Can you talk about that a little bit?
This is hot off the press. Every year, all the institutes, we receive we call them Education Performance Indicators, EPIs. And it talks about completion rates, how many of our students actually complete their programs, how many Māori students complete their programs, those under 25, international, those with disabilities, and we've just received our data, and we're so proud, really proud to see, firstly, that the completion rates for all of our students has improved across the institute, and also for our Māori, Pacifica, those with disabilities and students who are 25 years and younger have also increased quite a bit as well, so much so that the gap or the disparity between Māori completions and all students has actually reduced.
Incredible. So education works, isn't it?
Yeah, so that whole closing the gap, it's actually happening. We haven't closed the gap, but we're certainly closing it.
Congratulations, they're really great results.
Thank you.
I mean, working closely with the Chamber of Commerce and more in the team, so have you enjoyed that relationship, and then any highlights you want to talk about and some of the successes?
I think the indicator of a really good relationship is that it's easy. It's easy, and that's how I would describe the relationship with the Chamber. Arun, the team are just so easy to talk to and approach. Last year we sat down, myself, Arun, Linda and Maura, we sat down and renegotiated the sponsorship arrangements. And there were things that we were able to do, things that we weren't able to do, but the conversation was so very easy, and it should be, and I think that's a good clue of a healthy relationship. So this year we're really excited to still be the primary sponsor for Topshop.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, good fit, isn't it?
Fantastic event. What I love about Topshop Awards is that it's so incredibly local and it's inclusive of the entire region.
Yeah.
So there's that. We're still supportive of the Chamber in terms of our memberships. We've got a little project coming on board about how do we actually connect some of our students as associate members of the Chamber to help them grow their relationships. So,
nice work.
It's great.
It's a great relationship.
Yeah.
So 2024 and beyond, what's here for the future seems pretty exciting.
It is pretty exciting. One of the things I'm really proud about Taranaki is that we're so pro Taranaki, and I think this year and the next couple of years, I'm expecting to see a real collaboration and coming together. And that whole collective might of Taranaki will be really impressive, so much so that I'm hoping that we'll come forward as a region with some real solutions for the government.
Yeah, I agree. Well, how exciting. Watch the space. Allie and the team are always in awe of what you and everybody at WITT and Te Pūkenga does, and it's awesome to see you go from strength to strength through all the adversity and so many environmental changes. So it's been a real pleasure chatting, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.